Okay, the live streaming is now enabled. Hey, Josh.
Hey, folks.
Hey, nice to see you again, Josh. I asked Vani to forward the whole meeting series of Notary Project community meeting to you. So I want to double confirm whether you have the invite.
Yeah, I have the invite, which I think Pritesh sent to me.
Okay, awesome. So in general, we meet every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And also we use this HackMD doc to collect the topics and questions from community publicly. So if you have any questions or ideas you want to bring up to the community meeting, feel free to add to the agenda list. We usually work with Pritesh to work on this community meeting and keep our agenda up to date.
Got it. Yeah, I've seen this.
Oh, sure, you just mentioned the daylight saving time change, right?
Yes, I did see that on the calendar as well. It's a good call out.
That would be a good call. I need to add it to our meeting notes and also maybe update the meeting schedule on CNCF calendar. Now I'm sharing my screen and I'm currently on the meeting agenda. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So today I have collected three major topics from the community. The one is to discuss the scope and release plan of notation v1.4 and notation v2. Actually, we had a minor release of notation v1.3 2 weeks ago, and we updated the documentation and related blog posts in the community. And I also reached out to CNCF to repost the release announcement on CNCF official blog. So let's see when will it be released publicly. So next, I think we will explore the scope and also the release plan of the upcoming two releases, which is Notation v1.4 and Notation v2. Next, we have another topic, which is around the POC, the proof of concept of block signing and verification, which is also in our roadmap. So Patrick, I have validated the POC and the whole process works perfect on my Mac. I think next we can briefly talk about some potential UX enhancement and scenario-related questions. Last but not least, as we are enabling the block signing and the verification scenario, I think we can also explore and brainstorming on open source release signing because it also relies on the block signing feature. This is basically the topics that I collected from the community. So folks, do you have any other questions, topics, or you have seen related pull requests that you would ask to discuss in the community meeting? And by the way, Josh, if you have any questions when you are onboarding to the Notary project, feel free to bring it to the community meeting. We're happy to help. If not, I think we can continue the discussion. And for the block signing and the verification, Patrick, just to double confirm, as someone else in this meeting may not be quite familiar with the POC, are you ready to give a brief walkthrough later? Maybe just have a live demo for the block signing and verification. If not ready, I think we can also walk through the POC doc in the community meeting.
Finland, what do you mean by walkthrough?
I mean a live demo for the POC, but it's not necessary just to ask your willingness and also the readiness.
I think we could start the process by reviewing PRs. Like the PR should be start from the spec.
Okay.
And
So
it's public. Everyone can see the PR and review it.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's start from the first topic. We will explore the the scope and release plan of notation v1.4 and notation v2. Let me open those two milestones. So currently we have only two issues marked in v1.4. One is the sign and verify artifact data. I believe this is the same with the blob signing. Another one is blob signing spec. This one, I believe it is already merged in early January. So is there any additional work item in this issue, Junjie?
Okay. I may need to validate it again. I think there's something about the blob spec need to be changed. There are still some works to do. Yeah.
Okay. So next time, I think if we can have more detailed description in the issue, it would be much helpful because others may not be easy to get the point of what this issue we want to do.
Yes. I will complete the issue.
Previously, I think our plan was to have the block signing and verification in both v1.4 and also in v2, or we were considering backport the feature from v2 to v1.4. So I would like to figure out the reasonable approach to develop and deliver this feature in notation. So are we still sticking with deliver this feature in v2 and backport to v1.4, or we want to go with the strategy that we have a v1.4 alpha version to include the major changes of notation, blob signing, and verification?
So I would suggest to develop the V2 alpha first and see what is portable to V1.4. And we also want to mention that even if we port the feature to the 1.4, it will be experimental.
So your suggestion is to deliver the whole feature of blob signing and verification in v2 and backport to v1.4 and keep it as experimental stage.
Yes, so we will see after the V2.
Will these two with these two releases development in parallel? I mean, are we want to working in parallel to develop these two releases?
Not really. So we basically will focus on the V2 first.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and currently we are doing some refactoring work So basically, Patrick and Ginger, they are working on the refactoring and to make the code better. But because of the refactoring, and we are developing features based on the refactoring, it might be not easy to port that feature to v1.4. So we need some solid thinking about that.
If that is very tough to backport from V2 to V1.4, why we are sticking with the backport strategy, or why did we not consider deliver this feature in V1.4 alpha?
Because if we don't release 1.4, there's no meaning about the alpha version. Because the next version of the notation is V2.
So we're gonna have V2 first, and then we want to backport to V1.4.
Yes, so basically we will have V2 first and verify if the bulk signing feature is indeed good or not. If it's indeed good, and we will backport that to the notation V1.4. If not, we will stick with the V2. Is that reasonable?
I see. So I think we are planning V2 as our top priority, and V1.4 is just as a tentative state. So if this feature will not introduce any breaking changes, we're gonna keep it as V2. But if there's any potential breaking change introduced, we're gonna bring it to V1.4 alpha.
There will be no alpha version for V1.4.
Only V2 alpha?
Yeah. So basically, we are not going to introduce any new features in V1 unless it's very important or very useful and it's validated.
If in that case, I think we may need to explicitly to say that V1 is currently in a maintenance state.
Yeah, you can think about that.
Okay. Josh, I'm not sure whether you have any context about this feature. This feature was initially proposed from Pritesh, and I believe AWS is also looking for this feature. So do you have any further context about this one, the block signing and verification?
I know we have discussed it some internally. I think that things have shifted from where this was originally proposed. So I think we're still supportive of the direction that it's going in as far as notations are concerned, but it's no longer something that we need to prioritize for our own work. So I think moving forward with that in V2, like I don't think we have any rush to get that out sooner.
So you don't have any urgent requests on this feature at the moment. So
correct, yeah.
Okay, so just double confirm, you don't have concern if we move it to V2?
It seems fine to me.
Okay. So I think maybe we can take a look at the V2 milestone, because in V1.4, we all agree that we will not introduce new features. Let's see V2. Oh, we have a bunch of open issues there. The first one is to change the default behavior. We use OCI 1.1. I think that is a valid priority. We can keep it in V2. Allow users to specify the digest of signature should be returned from signing operations. This is an old feature request. Maybe give 1 minute for everyone to quickly look through this issue and see whether we want to include this feature in V2.
Can you scroll up a bit for the title?
Oh, sure.
This is doable. However, it needs to be done in Notation Go library, and a deprecation is needed for the signing method to do so, because currently we are not returning the digest of the descriptor of signature manifest after signing. If we want to return that information, then we need to have a new method and deprecate the old one.
I see. I think the original ask is to return the digest of signature in the standard output, right?
Yes, which means that's the signature, the digest of the signature manifest.
Yes. Let's go to the bottom to see the latest comment. Maybe we discussed this previously. Oh, I opened another similar issue last year or 2 years ago. It's a historical issue.
Also, this one is based on the JSON output. So I think this is all based on a workaround that we can work around the notation, the notation Go library. But anyway, we also need the JSON output. If we don't have the JSON output, it's not that meaningful to print out the digest of the signature manifest, because usually we will use that in the script.
Yes, I remember this is related to the formatted output scenario, and we need JSON and also the text output.
Yes, and that JSON output is all depending on the current refactoring work. Yeah, just letting you know.
And I see. So there's a dependency in notation libraries, right? And also
Yes,
notation
Do we
CLI.
have plan
pardon?
to have a JSON output in V2? Do we have a plan to have a JSON output in V2?
In terms of the JSON output for automation scenario, I think if we have enough resources to work on that, that would be perfect. It depends on our resource. But the priority, I think we still focus on the block signing and verification. But if we have enough resource, I think we can bring the formatted output scenario to V2.
Okay, so it's nice to have. Yeah.
Yeah, but this issue depends on the JSON output. That's I want to mention.
Is this also require a spec?
Yes, otherwise it's not that meaningful that you just print out and think of a scenario. So you sign a artifact, right? and we print out digest, right? And the user has to select the digest carefully and copy and paste somewhere and to show the digest to show the manifest. It's not that reasonable. And if the user does not want to do a copy and paste and to do further stuffs, they don't need that digest, right? So if you think about scenario, it's only usable if you are outputting it in a JSON format and consumed by a script. That would be reasonable.
Yes. I have seen more users are using notation in CI/CD and in their scripts. I'm trying to find a spec required label to add to this issue so that spec required, we have that label. So I think we at least need to define the standard output in JSON format, and we need to have a show spec to define that, right? So how about I add the spec required for this issue and still keep it in our V2 scope?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, let's continue. Oh, this one is quite straightforward. We received several asks from the community that they feel cumbersome to clean up the generated task key and certificate. So this one is basically to clean up the task key and certificate in one shot. I personally feel this is nice to have and not the highest priority at the moment, because we have the workaround and we can manually delete those task keys and certificate from the file system. I remember, Patrick, you previously had a draft pull request for cleaning up task key and certificate. Is that pull request, is that code still reusable or not?
Yes. I have a personal branch that's having this feature, a sort of POC. Yeah, it's reasonable to keep it in V2.
And also that your previous code base is reusable if you want to continue the work of this issue, right?
Yeah, basically yes. But I think this priority is not as high as the blob signing. Yeah,
What we
I think
need
we can
is
put it there.
what we need is to define the CLI experience. I mean the CLI flags and also the command line. Okay, I think maybe let's keep it as it is. End-to-end test. Oh, this issue was opened by Pritesh almost 2 years
Yes.
ago.
We have discussed this issue for CLI. CLI part, we have completed end-to-end test, and for OCSP, I will work on it.
I see.
I
Then
think
Freeman, could you assign this issue to?
Oh, yeah, we don't have any assignees at the moment.
Yeah,
you
to
can assign to
Junji.
me.
Okay. This one is duplicated with the issue 572, right? So we can skip issue 638. So I will change the
Can we merge
assignee.
those two?
Yeah.
Can we merge those two issues? They're the same.
Is there a feature to merge those issues? I don't think GitHub allows us to merge.
Maybe close one and mention it. It is repeated one, or we need to keep open.
Or just mark it as duplicated.
Yeah, it has duplicated label. How about I assign this issue to Junjie?
Yeah.
Okay, just finished. Okay, I think these two, those two are, oh, this is not duplicated with the next one. But this is a part of the formatted output scenario, which also requires a spec. We previously triaged this issue. As this is a spec-related work, I will assign it to myself, and I can work it after the block signing and verification feature. But we will mark this one as a low priority among others. We have block signing and verification as our top priority. Print manifest as part of the debug option. I think this should be a part of the diagnose experience improvement. The initial ask is to improve the debug logs of notation and also print out the related HTTP request and response, and also print out the digest of the signature. Yeah, looks duplicated with another one that I previously created. But this is more tend to improve the debug log instead of the error output.
If it's debug log, then it's really easy. It's really simple. It's just a one-line change.
It doesn't require any change in the notation Go library, right?
It should be in notation Go, but it's just a one-line change, and no refactoring is needed. But if it's for the output, then yes, we need the deprecation.
Is that change desired to be in the notation Go only, or it should be reflected in notation Go and CLI repo?
If it's for debug block, then it's just notation Go one line change. If it's for output, we need a change in notation Go library and then the CLI JSON output format. We
I
need
think,
both.
yeah, the original ask is to improve the debug logs. If you see the command that Toddy, the issue author, ran, he's asking to improve the debug logs instead of the error message. So how about we transfer this issue to notation Go because it only reflects the notation Go library.
Yes, sounds good.
And we can still keep this issue as a part of week 2 because this is not a very huge change. It's a tiny change to the debug log, right? But we need to define the reasonable output, the reasonable debug log information.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. I believe this is the one that we still need more alignment in the community and still in the discussion. How about we move this to 2.1 and maybe we can spend some time to align the reasonable behavior of this error message. This may not be a huge change, but it's something that we need to align the behavior. If no more concerns, I will move it to 2.1. We have a CLI error message guideline. I think I can double check whether that guideline cover the scenario of output warning and error message. Okay, let's continue. This is also a very old issue from Samir. Shui, do you still remember the context of this issue?
So I could provide some my understanding here. So if the user provide more than one key value pairs, but with only one -m or -- user metadata flag, the second key value pair will be ignored.
I see. Just like
That's the question from the issue. And I think the question is whether this is an expected behavior.
Can you scroll up a bit for the title? Okay, so this is one like 1.5 year ago, and I don't think that's a real good. I mean, it's not a real issue. Apparently, the user does not know how to use that, but it's reasonable because the user is using notation under Windows, right? So
yes.
there are two sets of command line convention. So basically, the user is currently following the Windows command line conventions. So, but as you know, notation is based on Linux and Unix conventions. So on Linux and Unix, this kind of input should never be there. So um, and we have to choose one. We cannot have both. So I think most of us will agree that notation will work on the Unix style of the command line tool, right?
I think notation should work on all platforms.
No, I mean the command line style we can only choose one. It should be either Unix or Windows. It cannot be both.
If you are talking about the convention and the design principles, I think we are following
Yes.
the Unix one.
Okay, so if we are following Unix one, then this kind of input is not valid. So we should not put effort on that one. So basically, we should close this issue. Because on Unix, if you want to have a option, each option you should have a flag before the option value. For example, here the build server equals to build code stage equal to sign should be 2 M instead of just one. But on Windows, it's allowed because once you have the -m, you can have multiple values after that flag, and it will be terminated by another flag. So basically, a value, we allow a space between the values. But in Unix and Linux, it's not.
So I think the reasonable behavior here is that if users want to input two metadata when signing an image, they have to specify the -m twice in this command.
Yes, that's right. Yes, and that follows the Unix style. I cannot say the current user behavior is not wrong. It's valid on Windows style, but it's not valid on Linux style or Unix style.
I'm thinking that we can add this case to our FAQ so that users may not be confused about our design principle. And also when they encountered the similar issues, there's a reference that we can explain and clarify why this should be the expected behavior.
Yeah.
Instead of expecting that this is a bug in notation, right?
Yeah.
So I will remove this from V2 and transfer this issue to Notary Project website as a FAQ documentation work item. If no more concerns, I will remove the enhancement label and mark it as a documentation work. And also remove the UX label neither. Okay, just transferred this issue to notaryproject.dev, the website repository. Okay, let's continue the triage process. This one is duplicated, I believe. Print out signature digest will sign an artifact. We just talked about this issue in the beginning of this meeting, so we can skip this one. Thanks for the reminder, Shui. I just saw your comment about the design style between Windows and Linux and how we separate different flags on those two platforms. I think in the next step, we're gonna have a separate pull request to add to document our current design convention or notation CLI. This might be reference those design conventions. This one, I think we will need further discussion and also UX and UX spec. As this is the remaining work of error message improvement, I will continue to keep it in V2 scope. Okay. Let's continue. And I believe this issue was originally created by Harbor maintainer, I think. And the original ask is to add a specific artifact type value to allow Harbor users to differentiate between Notary project signature and other general artifact. I still think this is a valid issue, valid feature request. The thing that we need to do is to define the reasonable value of this artifact type field. Some other OCR registry vendor may have the similar request. So I would suggest that we keep this issue, and it will not require a huge change in the spec. So I think we can put some efforts on OCR 1.1 support and also resolve this issue in V2. Josh, as this might be a good start for new contributors, are you interested in taking a look at this one? The original spec issue was opened by I think, let me check, by Rakesh, is also from AWS.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I was looking at a different issues.
Yeah, I mean, whether you are interested in taking a look at this issue and see whether you're able to take it. This might be relatively easier to get started with notation.
Let me sync up with Rakesh on this. I think I'm missing some context here.
Okay. Let me share the link in our chat so Josh, you can continue to follow up.
Sure.
I just sent the link, the issue of this link, the link of this issue in our Zoom chat, so you can look at the detailed description of this issue. Basically, the idea is to define an artifact type in Notary project signature manifest. So the OCR registry vendors and also the users can differentiate the artifact type of Notary project signature. Sometimes in the OCR registry, there might be various artifact types like SBOM, signature, and attestations, etc. So the original ask is to define a specified field for Notary project signature artifact. And this is a part of the OCR 1.1 spec support effort, which was created by Rakesh from AWS. So I'm thinking that this might be related to AWS stakeholder.
Yeah, I'll follow up on and check on this and see if this is still something that we're tracking.
Okay. If you are interested and want to work on that issue, you can comment in that issue so that you can self-assign or we can assign that issue to you. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we triaged this one, and I believe we triaged all of those issues marked in week 2 milestone. So we have basically 9 issues opened. So as we are following a quarter-based release cadence in the Notary project community, our last release notation v1.3 was 2 weeks ago, right? Let me check. Oh, 3 weeks ago. So if we are following a quarter-based release cadence, I think the next release v2 should be after 3 months. How about we set the end of April as the estimated release date for V2, considering we have some refactoring work in our queue, so maybe we may need a few more weeks to finalize the V2 alpha version. How about we set maybe April 30 as the ETA of notation V2 alpha. Shui, Patrick, and Junjie, do you have any thoughts about the release CTA, the timeline? Considering we have nine issues opened.
Yeah, Patrick, what do you think?
Sorry, Freeman, could you repeat your question?
Yeah. My question is, considering we are following the quarter-based release cadence in the Notary project community, so I'm thinking that we can tentatively set April 30 as the ETA, yeah, of V2 alpha version.
Shui, when is the KubeCon London again?
That's the April 1st.
April
But
1st.
yes.
Yeah, April 1st.
Yeah,
which
that's right.
is less than 2 months from now.
Yes, and I don't think it's good to say we are release 2.0.0 because I don't think we can just release 2.0.0 at the end of April. But we are actually targeting the 2.0.0 alpha, and after alpha we'll have beta, and then beta, then the RC, and then release. So let's say we are targeting the alpha version, that alpha 0.1, at the end of March. And maybe 2 months later, we will have a beta version.
Yeah.
And maybe 2 months later, we will have an RC version. It depends. And let's see our progress. If the progress is super fast, we can release the 2.0 in the first half a year.
Yeah, I was also talking about 2.0 alpha version. And if we are confident to cut an alpha release before end of March, that would be perfect because we can leverage the KubeCon to promote this release to the broader community. But I was thinking that we may need to remove some of the low priority issues out from the V2, or we can have a separate V2 alpha version to just scope some top priority issues in that milestone.
Yes, let's just create a new milestone called 2.0.alpha 1. And we just select some items from the V2 to the alpha 1. So it will be better. And it's more manageable.
Yeah, I think so. From my mind, I think the block signing and verification and also OCA 1.1 support would be the top 2 priorities if you want to demonstrate something at KubeCon EU.
And also, it's okay that the feature is not completed because it's an alpha version. In alpha version, we don't expect the feature to be completed. But we do expect the feature is completed in beta, but we allow bugs. And then we're fixing bugs and to be the RC version.
Sounds reasonable. Any ideas from other maintainers?
I think it's good. For the refactoring work, I created an issue. Do we need a milestone for the issue?
It would be better that we can put those refactoring related work into a milestone so that we don't lose those priorities in our milestone, because we will use the milestone to group and continuously review in the future meetings.
Okay.
You can add related milestone like V2.0 to those refactoring related issues.
Sure.
Thank you. If by the way, Josh, if you see any potential work that relevant to your scope or to your interest, feel free to bring up. We can also prioritize in V2 milestone. Maybe you can talk with Vani and other stakeholders from AWS. We are still opening to any ideas and thoughts in V2 milestone.
Yeah, understood. I will double check. My understanding is there isn't anything that there's anything to raise at the moment, but I will definitely circle back and let you know if that changes.
Thank you. I guess Vani might still in India, so I think you can double check with Vani and maybe Rakesh from AWS. They were actively engaged with our previous milestone and roadmap discussion, and I shared the V2 milestone in our chat, so you can review the scope of V2 and let us know if this is good.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. I think the next step is to create a V2.0 alpha milestone, and we can group some of those top priority issues into that alpha milestone. And also we are targeting the end of March to have an alpha version so that we can demonstrate the alpha version at KubeCon EU in London. That is basically the timeline and also the scope of V2 and also V2 alpha. But we will target the V2 alpha first and see the potential quality and feedback from community. Then we can identify the potential timeline for V2 beta, RC, and stable release. For those issues marked as spec required, I will help to working on those spec in our upcoming weeks. Today, I think we are running out of time. So for another 2 topics, we may not have sufficient time to cover in this meeting, but I can provide my feedback asynchronously to Patrick about the POC of block signing and verification.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Raymond.
Yeah, but at least the good news is that my test result is good, and the signing and the verification of blob can run successfully on my Mac machine. But I can foresee some potential spec related work in Notary project community, and we may need to update the existing spec. But let's park here, and I think we can continue the discussion in our Slack channel. And I think next time we can have a live demo of the POC for block signing and verification. I hope by next time we can improve the UX as well. And also we can explore and have a brainstorming on open source project signing scenario. This is also rely on the block signing feature. So I can move these 2 topics to our next meeting and end up today's meeting. Okay, folks, do you have any further questions? If not, I think we can finish today's meeting. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Bye.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.